need to understand how we can use JavaScript with HTML. So now first important concept we need to understand how to integrate JavaScript with HTML. So how JavaScript means how we use JavaScript with HTML, how it is integrated with HTML. That is the first point. Actually, it is in the same concept like CSS. So already we learned CSS, so no need to explain much about techniques in CSS. Already we learned that. If you remembered, we learned CSS, same like CSS. That means in CSS we discussed that CSS can be used inline, CSS can be used embedded, CSS can be used from external file. So we discussed that CSS can be used in several ways. In the same way, how JavaScript is integrated with HTML. Actually, same three techniques are there. So JavaScript can be inline. That means you can write JavaScript inline. You can write JavaScript embedded, and you can write JavaScript in external file. We have these three techniques. What is difference between them? So inline, embedded, external file, same like CSS, concept is same. So I told you clearly in CSS that in JavaScript also this topic will come, and the same in JavaScript also. But you have to learn how to write it here. First, I will show you how JavaScript is integrated with HTML. What are the three techniques actually? So what is inline, what is embedded, and what is external file? So let's go to the project here. So I'm here going to this project that we created. Okay. So we will create a separate folder for all our JavaScript examples. So I will create a separate folder here, JavaScript examples. Okay. And let's add a simple file. In that particular folder, I'm adding a new file, home.html. Okay. Now, let's add some code here. So we are creating a HTML page, doc type HTML, HTML head, title, some JavaScript, okay, and in body section. So we have a heading. Some click the print button to print page. Okay. And here I added a button and used the word print. Okay. Now what we want is, we want JavaScript to create a simple print functionality so that the button can print the page. So now how JavaScript can be used in HTML. So when I click print button, it should able to print the page. Later you will learn about JavaScript functions, how to write them and all. Currently you need to understand where JavaScript is written in HTML. What are the techniques? First point is we can write JavaScript inline. Inline means, so we can write JavaScript for this element, button element inside that element itself. Like we can simply write on click. So when it is clicked, it should print window.print. Actually, window.print is a method that prints the page. And when button is clicked, so it will print that page. You see now, nothing else required. This is enough. This is enough. That means you don't need to write anything anywhere else. You can directly write the script. So inside this element, for that element, it will work. Now I will open this and I click on print button. Now JavaScript is working. That means it opens the printer properties so that we can print. So JavaScript is able to handle that functionality for that element there itself. So this is it. That means for that element there itself you can good is fusion because written for the element inside that element. What is bad is the problem with this is we cannot reuse that. Already that's what we learned in CSS. I hope everyone remembered. We cannot reuse those functionalities again and again whenever required. So suppose I have another button and this button also print page. I want this button also to do the same work. As of now, one simple functionality is there, it's okay. But lot of logic is present. I want it again. Then you have to write for this button again. That means you have to write again and again. On click is equal to again window.print like this. Actually, it is a small functionality, that's okay. But if it is a lot of lines of code we have to configure, that's difficult. Again and again, we need to write that. So it is not reusable. It is not reusable. So this is the problem with inline technique. Then what we can do is we can write JavaScript embedded. Embedded means we can write JavaScript in our page integrated in a head section or in body section by using a script tag, Same like CSS. If you remembered, I told you that CSS is embedded in head section or body section. One more technique I told you. CSS can be outlined outside the page also, but we don't recommend that for a learner level to use outside. But actually, we can keep CSS also outside. It is more faster. We discussed these all points already. I hope you all people remembered that. But embedded scripts, what is difference between head section, body section, outside HTML also I explained. Here script also same concept. But MIME type is different. What is the MIME type of CSS? Generally, CSS is, remember MIME type of CSS. What is the MIME type of CSS? So we have to define type is equal to text slash CSS, right? Yeah. Now, similarly, the MIME type of JavaScript is type is equal to text slash JavaScript. That is the MIME type. That is the MIME type for JavaScript. So when you are writing the script in page, you can write in head or body section. Generally, the can directly take control of the body section. You have seen that all our bootstrap, we kept the scripts in the body section, right? And script is embedded in the page. So what you can do is in head section or body section, we can write a script. And the script MIME type, we have to define type is equal to text slash JavaScript, or so you can also write language is equal to language, complete language word is equal to JavaScript. But this is not recommended anymore, but it will also work. So these days we just use this MIME type, which is easy to understand. Language is not understandable for the modern browser. It's a very old technique. So better you can use type text slash JavaScript, because actually the script tag is not only for JavaScript, it can be used for different other types of scripts also. Like we have coffee script, like we have server side scripts, like we have Babel scripts, JSX, so many are there. That is the reason it's very important to mention that MIME types, just like CSS MIME type here also. Now, what we can do is we can write a function here. Later, I will explain about how to write functions, how to execute the functions and all. Don't worry about that. Just observe the concept of inline and embedded. So I am writing a function here is print. Okay, this do. It should perform the functionality window.print. So it should perform the functionality window.print. So we can access, we can define that here. That means we can, now this function can be accessed and used for every button. So here button on click, on and this also on click. On click is equal to print page. That means we can reuse the code. So in this, you can write so many lines of code which you can reuse across the elements. So now you can see that this is embedded technique. You find, so that is working fine. It is working for the print button. It is working for the print page button. So everywhere it is same. So this is generally how it happens. So we can write currently, I told you that concentrate on the concept of inline technique, embedded technique. You don't worry about what is function, what is print page, what is window.print. what is the name, like function names are, I told you that don't think about it. Just concentrate on the concept of inline and embedded. Understood? Huh? What is function? Why it is written like that? What is window.print? Function name and your name, how it can be. All those things I will tell you later. Okay. Very good. At least now you understood that point. Okay. See, that's what I am saying, that don't concentrate on what is this I written. Concentrate on this concept of inline and embedded. Inline means what? Embedded means what? Okay. So what is the reuse? And what is the advantage of embedded? We can reuse. And you can embed in the head section and you can embed in the body section. Yes. And generally, while embedding, we have to mention the MIME type. MIME type is defined by using this type text/JavaScript. So I hope everyone is clear. You understood the difference between inline and embedded. Am I right? Is it clear? Inline means we write JavaScript for that element directly inside the element. Embedded means we write in a separate script tag and we keep it in the page. And another technique is there. Another technique is, if we want to reuse across several pages, if I want to reuse this functionality across several pages, not only here, in different pages, in that case, we can maintain that in a separate file, external file, and we can access and use it. So I am removing this function from here. After removing the function from here, so we will go to the project and we will create a separate folder. Somewhere in the project, we will create a separate folder, or you can just directly create a file. Suppose I am creating a file. So here I will create a file. And the file name is, suppose, print page. Any name you can give. JavaScript files will have extension .js. They have the extension .js. Okay, enter. That JavaScript file is created. Same like CSS files will have extension .css. The JavaScript file will have extension .js. In this file, we write this function. The functionality we write here. And now currently you see these two print page not working. Now, because the function is present in a separate file, we can access and use that file in this page. For that, you have to use the script tag. By using script tag, we have to define the source. Already you know JavaScript, jQuery Bootstrap source, how we linked jQuery and Bootstrap. Source is equal to fold.js. So directly it is present in the same folder, we are linking it. Now the JavaScript is written in a separate file and we are accessing that and we are using it here. Now it's so what is advantage is you can use this file for any page. So you can access this function across several pages. In which page you want to use it, in that page, you have to use a script, and through source, you can access it and use it. Now you can see, so now the function print page we are using, and that is actually written in this file, and it is working from that file. And when I click print page, it's working now. And already we learned one important concept. The good about this is you can access from any location, from any page. What is drawback of external file? Remember what is the drawback of external file? So what is the drawback of external file? You remember that? We learned what is the drawback of external file, right? Yes. What is the drawback of external file is? The drawback of external file is it will increase the number of requests. Understood? It will increase the number of requests. And if number of requests are increased, then page load time also will increase. So we cannot use unnecessarily external files. Already we learned about that. So using external files will increase the number of requests to the page and also the page load time. So it depends on requirement and the situation. I already told you that nobody can ask you like out of 3 which one is best, because in different situations we use all the 3 techniques. In one page itself we can use all the 3 techniques. That means in one page you can write inline for one element, you can write embedded, you can write from external file. One page can use all the 3 also. It depends on requirement and the situation. We can write JavaScript inline, we can write JavaScript embedded, and we can write JavaScript external file. I hope it is clear to everyone. Everyone understood this? Because I detailedly explained this in CSS also the same thing. I told you that why I am explaining so much time about these techniques, because the same will repeat in HTML, JavaScript also, the same point. So inline, embedded, and external file. So how JavaScript can be used in HTML? Inline technique, embedded technique, and external file technique. These are the 3 techniques. External file means usually JavaScript files will have extension .js, and we link the files. So type text JavaScript, and we link the files by using source, the file name, and .js. We will link the files and use them actually. That is external file, how we can configure and work with them. This is the first concept you need to understand, how JavaScript is integrated in HTML. Okay. Second point. So when you are writing JavaScript, you need to know about strict mode of JavaScript. Strict mode of JavaScript. So what is strict mode, and why to use strict mode for JavaScript? This is another very important. Actually, once you are aware of how to write JavaScript, then you need to understand some important techniques. What is the strict mode of JavaScript? Strict mode of JavaScript is nothing but, see, this is very important. In interviews also they ask this. So let's create one page. Here, demo.html. Okay. Here I am writing simply, just concentrate on what I am explaining, not the code why I am writing like that. Okay, just concentrate on this concept, right? That's what you are going to learn. All the logical part you are going to learn now. Suppose here I have written a function f1 and I am calling the function f1. So function f1 is called so that it is executed. It can have some functionality. So don't worry about this functionalities. See, actually, what is strict mode? I will tell you that is the point to understand. Generally, when people are writing JavaScript, JavaScript allows so many shortcut techniques. So if JavaScript allows shortcut techniques, then problem is our developers have different techniques of writing the code. That means in one project, several people are working, and if everyone writes with his own techniques, that will lead to a lot of code inconsistency. That means I written in one way, another person written in another way. Functionality is working, but the code I written and another person written, both are related to same module. Then there will be lot of confusion. There will be lot of confusion for a new developer, another developer who is continuing your code. That's the reason I will show you that point. That is the reason we don't want developers to violate the standards of coding. We want our developers to follow the standards and write as per the standards. For example, see, actually we have x equal to 10 and I am printing the value of x, document.write and x equal to plus x equal to the value of x. I am writing the value of x. Now don't again come with this question. What is document, sir? What is write, sir? What is this slash, sir? You don't worry about that now. Okay. Just understand my concept, what I'm explaining, right? Try to understand that. This is what you are going to learn. What is that document? What is that write? You will learn. So see, the point is actually, this is the small code snippet I have written here. In this, x is called as a variable actually. And in that variable, you have a value 10. Generally, as per any programming language, the variables cannot be used directly like this. You have to declare variables first. As per any programming language, so variables must be first declared, then you can use them. Generally, in general, even JavaScript also. But in JavaScript, it allows to use a variable without declaring. It allows it. Then what happens is, so you see now, when I run this code, you can observe that. So that x equal to 10 is working fine. But my developer is not following the standards of coding. And he written in some other format, which is not good, because some browsers cannot understand this kind of syntax and they will say that this is an error. But some browsers will say that it's okay, I will allow. That means sometimes developers can use their own shortcut techniques in writing the logic, which may be confusion for other developers or other browsers that are going to compile it, then they will report that as an error or as a problem. This leads to a lot of inconsistency in coding. One person writes like this, another person writes in a correct way. That means in one project itself, a lot of code techniques are used. We don't want this to happen. We want our developers to follow the standards and write as per the standards. If they miss anything, immediately report. So this will help to reduce the inconsistency in coding. So that is very important. So then what we do is we ask our JavaScript people to turn on strict mode. That means to turn on strict mode. How to turn on strict mode? What you have to do is, after this script element, if you are writing embedded, after that script element, before writing anything in JavaScript, you have to write the first line, use strict and semicolon. This is what we have to write. Now, actually, when you write this, now it will force the developers to write as per standards. So if you miss any code, that means if you misuse the technique and you try some other thing, it will not allow. It will simply report as a problem. Now you observe carefully now. So actually, currently it is working fine. Let's go to the console. I will refresh what I have written and you see it's not working and it shows an error, says that X is not defined. So you go to this console. In the console, you can see the errors. So how to open the debugger, you know already. So right click, inspect, and go to console. You will see that it shows a problem saying that as per the standards, X is not declared. X is not defined. So, but previously it was working. Even now, if I remove the strict mode, you can see that. So I refresh, it's working fine. If I put the strict mode, then it will not work. Now, as per the standards, my developer should declare that variable X, then he have to use. Now, again, don't worry about what is var sir, what is let sir. These are the next level concepts you are going to discuss. I will declare a variable and refresh. It's working fine now. So strict mode is very much important in JavaScript. And we always ask our developers to write JavaScript in strict mode. Because see, sometimes many people will tell you some shortcuts in programming, techniques in programming, something like that. But as a developer, you should know that is that shortcut, is that technique good for compiler? If it is not good for compiler, don't use that. So for example, sometimes I will show you here, just point is, generally, sometimes we have an option if we have condition and a block in that true, else another block false, like this, false statement like this. Now you generally write an if condition like this. Actually, this is the block. It indicates start execution and stop execution. This is one block. This is another block. Now, sometimes when you are learning programming languages, so several trainers will tell you that we have a shortcut. We can write like this: if condition, that not shortcut, if condition without flower brace, true statement, and else without flower brace, false statement. So they will tell you something like this. They will say that we don't need to use this curly brace. Without that also it will work. Actually, it will work. It will work. But as per programming standards, if you don't use a curly brace to tell where to start and where to stop, now compiler is confused about start and stop. So it is confused here to understand start and stop. It will work, but it will take more time than this one. And your faculty or your trainer has told you this as a shortcut. You can try like this also. But as a professional developer, so this is right side, whatever you written, it is rubbish. It is completely senseless programming. So you may say that my trainer is 20 years experience. He told me this. We don't care. Your trainer may be 30 years experience, but he is not Brendan Eich, right? That means he is not the person who built JavaScript. So we don't care about him. We don't even consider him also. After all, why? Because that means he is not the person who built JavaScript. Even he may have 25, 30 years of experience in training. And he told you some shortcut and you blindly follow it without knowing the consequences. So then where to know about all this? Actually, this is what we ask our developers to understand, that don't try these shortcuts until or unless you know that they are good for compiler. Generally, where you can know about this, actually, I will show you. So JavaScript, as I told you, JavaScript follows the standards of ECMA. It follows the standards of ECMA. And you can see that generally in real world programming, our developers use code analyzers. So code analyzers we use. Code analyzers are the softwares actually. The purpose of code analyzer is when you are writing code, it will tell, is it a good code or bad code? For example, so many code analyzers are there, like PMD, like Sonar, so ESLint. So these are all code analyzers actually. So you open it here, see, suppose I am showing you some PMD. Yeah, this is PMD. It is a code analyzer. And open this PMD documentation. You see this in this PMD documentation, left side, there is rule reference. We will go to that rule reference. Java rules, Maven rules, PLSQL rules, XML rules, ECMA rules. ECMA rules are JavaScript rules. In that, code styles, best practices. So when I go to this code styles, if statements, you can see that if and else statements. You see here, this is the people who built JavaScript, they are telling this. People who built JavaScript, they are telling that. So what they are telling is, people who built JavaScript, see what they are telling. So they are telling that this is okay and this is bad. This is bad. That means without flower brace, you are writing something that is bad. But your faculty will tell that you can write like this also. But actually a professional, I should never recommend any learner this technique. I should tell him that don't use this. I will not even tell, if I am teaching if condition, I will not tell my learners about this concept at all. I will say that use flower brace to start and end. And when I am teaching that use flower brace, then immediately somebody comes and tells that, sir, in Java, in .NET, in PHP, or my faculty somewhere else said that without that flower brace also it will work. That is rubbish. That is completely foolish coding. That is completely unprofessional coding. We don't consider that. So we don't care about that. So who tells about that? The people who built it, they tell about that. And you cannot say that people who built JavaScript is not great and your faculty is great. Then people will laugh at you, okay, all over the world. So the point is, so such shortcut techniques are so many which developers use regularly. So due to that, lot of technical issues will come, inconsistency in coding will come. To avoid that, these kind of softwares are introduced actually. Now what these softwares will do is, we can use these softwares in our projects. They will identify whether the code written by you is as per the standards or not while writing itself. And it will report warnings and errors if you are not following the standards. Our JavaScript uses actually ESLint actually, ESLint. ESLint is our language analysis tool. This is ESLint. This is ESLint. So this is ESLint. So that means find and fix problems in your JavaScript code. What does that means? It doesn't mean that when you write JavaScript, if you got any errors, it will help you in solving the errors like your faculty. Understood? It's not like that. So it says that if you are writing JavaScript and you are not following as per the standards, I will help you. I will help you in finding the standards and fixing them. Not in, that means don't think that it will fix the problems in your JavaScript means some code you written wrong and it will help you. Right? Tomorrow you go there and say that in this program I am getting a mistake, please help me. Those people will not help you. Those people will help you in standards. Understood? They will not help you in your code. So that is in the standards, So you can use this actually in the Visual Studio Code also. That means what you can do is, we have Visual Studio Code. Go to extensions of Visual Studio Code. In extensions already you install live server, icons and all. Here you can search for ESLint. You can search for ESLint. ESLint you can search here. You can see this is ESLint. You can install this ESLint so that it will help you. It will help you in understanding such standards and reporting them. So as of now, it's okay, because while learning JavaScript, I will tell you what are the standards, how to write and how to work with them. You don't need to take help of that ESLint, because if you learn directly with those standards, then it is good. So that is the reason you need to understand the importance of this strict mode. So if JavaScript is not in strict mode, different people have a habit of writing in different techniques, and this will lead to a lot of code inconsistency. We have to avoid that by using this strict mode. Now don't worry what is document.write, why we have written where and all this. That is not the point to concentrate as of now, because that we will learn in the next level. So what is the purpose of strict mode is important. I hope everyone understood. Everyone understood what is the purpose of strict mode? What is strict mode of JavaScript? Right? Is it clear? strict mode of JavaScript. Yeah, that's important. So technically, when you are working with JavaScript, how you write the strict mode? So by using use strict and semicolon. And if it is in a separate JavaScript file, before starting the functions, we write here use strict like this. We can write here. If it is embedded, so above the function in the script element, you can write here. Inline, you will not have that, because inline, it will not allow shortcuts at all. If you violate the standards inline and try to use the shortcuts, it will not recognize your code at all. So inline, you don't have problem. You have problem only when you are writing embedded and you are writing in external file, you have this issue. That is the reason you need to understand that. So that is strict mode. Another important point. So you know, now you are clear with MIME type of JavaScript and strict mode of JavaScript. MIME type is text/JavaScript. It is to tell the browser that this is a JavaScript code, right? And a strict mode. Another point is script for legacy browsers. Script for legacy browsers. Legacy browser is nothing but old version browsers. Script for legacy browser is, again, the point is, now JavaScript is improving and several new concepts are coming into JavaScript in the latest versions. But people are still using old version browsers in some areas, working on very old version of browsers even today. Due to that, what happens is some code that you written in advanced JavaScript is not understandable to old version browsers. So in that case, we want the translators to translate into understandable format of that browser. So that it is easy for browser to understand. Otherwise, it will simply show error saying that I can't recognize this, what you have written. This problem comes regularly. These days, we don't have this problem very much, because these days, the developers itself, when they develop a website, they strictly restrict the browsers. That means they say that our application will work on Internet Explorer 11 and higher version. So you don't use any older versions, and if you use, it will not work. So that clearly our developers are telling to the clients, and that's the reason now clients have to use only the browser recommended by them. In early days, we don't force the clients to use browser. So we can say that, okay, you use any browser. And if you are using an old version browser, and if that browser is unable to understand the new code I have written, then I will tell the compiler that some advanced code is present here. Try to translate into the old. But if the compiler is capable of translating into old version, then it will translate and give. Otherwise, it will simply say that I cannot translate this. So the point here is, as a developer, if we know that we are writing something new and old browsers cannot understand, because so many such things are present. I will tell you a small concept. Actually, suppose here we are having document.write. I am writing here. So 2 power of 3. 2 to the power of 3. So 2 raise it to the power of 3. Now, to raise it to the power of 3, generally, earlier we have to write like this. Earlier we have to write, in old versions of JavaScript, we have to write math.pow. It is a function. In that 2, 3, like this we have to write. Then what happens is it is going to return that result. So it is going to return that result there. So 2 to the power of 3. Let's run this and see. You can see that it is going to return that. So let's run this in the browser and check that here. It's taking a while. Let's check that now. Now, what is the point is that is the old technique of writing the power and exponent and finding it and displaying actually. Okay. Now it is displaying that here. Okay. Now it is showing here. So that is 8. Now in the new versions of JavaScript, we can handle this. Simply, instead of writing like this, math, power and all, we can simply write 2 double asterisk 3. Like this we can write. This is an exponent operator. And it's not available in the older versions. It is available in the new version. You can define in this way. So you say 2 to the power of 4. And if you define this, and you can see here, it will show that result there. And 2 to the power of 3. And it can display that and show here. Now, this new operator is not understandable to old browsers. Old browsers cannot understand them. And they will simply say error, saying that we are unable to understand this. Such new code when you are writing, and you know that sometimes old version browsers are used to view your website, there this new code will not work. Then you have to tell the browser that the code I written is in advanced version. And so if you are a legacy type, please try to translate into your understandable type. How we can denote that? Actually, for that, what you do is, generally we write the code. So we generally write the code. Whatever the code you are writing, we write this code in HTML comments. This is HTML comment actually. So generally HTML comments are written like this. This is HTML comment. So this is HTML comments. In HTML, if you want to write comments, we write like this. So that HTML will not try to translate them or use them as elements. You write like this. So this is HTML comments. We write like this. Now we write the script in HTML comments. We are writing that script in HTML comments. The function we are writing in HTML comments. This you will see very rarely. And you will see this type of coding technique used by very experts in programming. That means people who are working with web development more than 10 years. Such people have an habit of writing like this. You will not see this from the recent developers and learners this kind of technique. And very rarely any website also even shows you like this, because all these websites are very recent websites. So they will not, means in their tutorials also, they will never show you that JavaScript is written in HTML comments. So you will see this in very old websites, like 15 years back, somebody written about JavaScript. And in that tutorial, they targeting legacy types and modern types. And you will see that there your JavaScript examples are written like this. That means this kind of coding technique you will see in very old type. But this is very important to make the browser understand that, you see, currently I am defining like 2, 4 and all like this. I am writing in HTML comments. And here I am refreshing. The code is working fine. Your code is working fine. So even you are writing in this expression, even you are writing in this comments, it's working fine. Then why you have written the code like this? The main intention is to target legacy browsers. That means to tell the old version browsers that the code I have written here may contain some advanced options. So if you feel difficulty in understanding that advanced, you translate that into your native and use it. Then do you know what it will do? It will change this 2 double asterisk, that means browser, 2 double asterisk 4. It will change this into math.pow 2, 4. So this is the old technique of understanding. This is new technique. So this is available from ES5 onwards. That means from JavaScript 2015 onwards, it is available. It's not there in older versions. Such things, so many are there. So the point is how you tell the browsers that this is advanced code, and if you belong to legacy type, please try to translate. We have to write our code in this HTML comments. This is actually script for legacy browsers, old version browsers. But you will not see this kind of technique in any website or any tutorial that teaches you about JavaScript. So, but this is followed by the developers with vast experience, because now these days we are using modern browsers. Modern browsers can understand the old type of code, new type of code. They will load the library according to the version of the browser. So loading library according to the browser version is managed by compilers actually, that you will later learn in advanced concepts. We call that mechanism as actually differential loading. Later you will learn about this technique. But at very experienced level interviews, they may ask this technical word, what is differential loading? Differential loading is nothing but designing a library in such a way that the library will be transformed in 2 ways. One for legacy browsers, another for modern browsers. When a request is coming from legacy browser, it will translate the code into legacy code. When it is coming from modern browser, it will translate into the modern code, means advanced. That means the client may be using a old version browser or new version browser, he will not miss the concept. That is what actually differential loading concept is. But this is at very high level. Later you will see that, but you should know the term, what is the meaning of differential loading. And these days, many technologies use that, like Angular, like React, like Vue, like Backbone. All these technologies use this differential loading. They will provide library for both legacy browser and the modern browsers. That's the reason they can run on every device, every operating system, and every browser also. So this is very important, you need to understand. So that is strict mode. Another one for legacy browsers. For legacy browsers, you have to enclose all your code in this HTML comments. So I hope everyone is clear, understood the pointer, understood the concept. So MIME type, strict mode, and legacy. And another very important point, already you know, minification. We learned already minification, right? We learned already minification, right? So what is minification? Minification is compressing, right? At production, already we learned in CSS. Now how to minify your JavaScript code? Just like CSS minifier, you will have a JS minifier. So JS minifier, JavaScript minifier. You will have JavaScript minifiers. You can open the JavaScript minifier. Yes. You can write your ordinary code and it will convert that ordinary code into minified code. You can copy that into a minified file and you can use it. Already you know it, na?